So I had a good talk with my mental health worker yesterday. Um, I was talking to him and trying to explain to my mental health worker yesterday that I don't want to be put in a position where I'm kind of going backwards from where I was headed and stuff like that, because he is a new case manager and he's now recently working with me and stuff like that I have this concern that I'm actually going to go backwards and stuff when it comes to like my mental health stuff and stuff that, really wasn't working for me and to begin with the program and stuff for mental health. And my concern is me going backwards or me having to go back to certain things that were not working because, my mental health program is the mental health program. Um, me being me and the way I was raised in certain systematic aspects. I was raised with certain programmings and systematic aspects because of my mom when it came to like the state and stuff and, different childhood traumas and things I was going through where my voice was silenced by my mom and some other things that my voice was being very much silenced. I was abused. I didn't know how to speak out on the abuse. All this other shit that had happened that I wasn't able to really come out and say up until the point I started writing poetry and I started writing more and more and I started saying certain things and being more vocal as in my 20s and my 30s. But the thing is that, my workers are trying to teach me to be more independent, right? They're trying to teach me to be more independent. And I think maybe possibly there's a possibility in some cases that if they had their way, they would probably have me be more independent by doing my own thing at my house and probably not even having me join a group with them to go out to, out to eat here or there because they kind of still want me to be independent. I had a lot of things going good for me very independently. I had a lot of things going good for me when it came to doing things independently and stuff. Especially when it came to like me being involved in the arts and having all these friends in the arts and getting involved in the arts and partaking and so having a life as an artist within the local community and being part of a local community and having people kind of acknowledge and accept me in our group of the local community. And that kind of really changed when somebody new came to the local community, started a business, and there was some issues between me and them, and it kind of started affecting my mental health and etc., which still kind of does in a lot of ways. But it's like the fact that it's taking away from me and it's taking away from a lot of my aspects. But some people would say too that there was a lot that took away from me too back 5 to 6 years ago, way before I even met what's her name in the local business. But I mean, at least I still was a part of the local business. I still the local business scene. At least I was still a part of the local business scene. I was still trying to, make my name among the local artists and trying to get involved. There was a lot of cultural stuff that happened that was not adding to things or really adding to my value or my worth, that I'm not trying to get into any more cultural things when they happen. I believe a black person's life matters. I mean, obviously some people are going to look at me funny too because the kind of taboo, kinky kind of sex and shit that I'm into is kind of contradicts that and some people's views. That I can say that I like to believe a black person's life matters, but at the same time, there's people out there thinking I'm contradicting that by believing in getting off the way I do towards the black community and and etc. when it comes to sex and being attracted to why I'm attracted and etc. But I mean, obviously there's people that will not accept you for who you are. There's whether they're racist or whether they're not racist, whether they say they're pro-black, whatever. There's tons of people out there who will not accept you for who you are and will try to put their own views on you to make you feel like you have to you always have to kind of be forced to believe what they believe, or else you're not being socially correct in society. Unfortunately, I've kind of learned to just love and accept myself and accept my heritage and accept who I am. And if people don't like it, then that's great. I mean, people can delete themselves from my Facebook. People can move on. People can just get lost. But I've lost so many people right now that, some people that I wish I kind of never kind of lost, but the whole situations with them were kind of also not really true or really holding a lot of truth or, standing at upstanding value in the first place, when it came to, some of the local poets and stuff I had in Hartford and stuff. But, because there were some, indifferences between me and, and somebody else who kind of played around with my heart, then told me they didn't have time, then blocked my messages from me messaging them, and then eventually ended up blocking me personally, and I've been blocked for like the last year or two now, and I haven't really kind of had any contact with them or any, in situations. But I mean, obviously that's kind of sucks too, because they were one of my publishers. They were one of my publishers out in Hartford. I had connections to a group of publishers in Hartford, and now they don't even publish me, because the whole reason I was there in the first place was basically because, one is because of that person, and that person was trying to show me favor and liking to me, and when things went bad and stuff, and they could care less, people who were not associated with their little, publishing group in Hartford and stuff, or who are under the people in their publishing group in Hartford, for Hartford's Lit and stuff, would not, then they would not publish me, because that's why I wasn't in the last anthology for Hartford's Lit, there was an anthology, and I wasn't in the last one, because I wasn't, I wasn't valued or, respected enough to really be told about it or really have a chance to be in it, or even, and for a while there too, people were saying, "Oh, we're going to send you a surprise. We're going to send you a gift," and I never got the gift. I ended up buying the book, and doing my thing. I never ended up getting the gift or getting what they wanted to give me as a gift, and pretty much my friends who run that, my old ex-friends who ran that group, kind of were running me down to the ground. But regardless, I missed out on a lot of opportunities. There was a lot of things I regret. I mean, this bottom line is I don't want to go back into everything, but there's a lot of things I regret. And let me take you with me on my magic carpet ride, while I actually go over to the phone charger and charge my goddamn phone. So, there's a lot of things I actually regret, right? Things I actually regret. And, the main thing is I missed out on a lot of opportunities, and lately I haven't been feeling like there was been much of a life or much of a social circle. I mean, this year for the holidays, I didn't feel like there was very much to celebrate. I mean, I hung out with Greg. I mean, has been a good friend, and I've done stuff with Greg, and Greg's been really nice to treat me sometimes, when it goes out to, when we go out to eat here and there. But, for the most part, it's like, I don't feel like I've had much to celebrate this year, and I feel like there's been a lot of things that were binding my hands and kind of putting me on the sidelines of doing certain things or being involved in certain things that I really don't know why I'm even on the sidelines with in the first place. But yet certain things had benched me, and certain things had put me on the sidelines, and there was all this kind of bullshit and drama between, the cultural stuff and some other stuff that it really kind of had affected the overall outlook of stuff. I do want to believe a black person's life matters. I mean, I think people kind of look at me funny when it comes to some of my fantasies and the things that require having sex with a black woman, but people get off the way they do, and as long as anything's consensual, I mean, it still sticks and it's still relevant and flies. I mean, we still live in an age where things do happen, whether people agree with it or not, shit does happen, So, but regardless of the factor, there's many things about interracial relationships and stuff that people are still hounded on me that I was so wrong for, etc., that really kind of changed the aspect of how I feel about myself and stuff. But the thing is, even if I do go back into get myself back involved in the arts and stuff too, it's the factor that I don't lose myself again trying to put myself in a positions to put other people first, or put other situations and things first that were not adding value or not adding things to my life that were okay or good by my growth or mental health, that that I'm really going to be tested. I think I'm going to really be tested going back out into the community and stuff, trying again. But I think that's when you get tested the most. You don't really get tested when you're sitting by yourself and you come to the realizations of what you need to do to heal. You get tested on your healing when you're out and about and, in the actual atmosphere of the situation. So, um, I know things. I kind of know things that were going on. I kind of know things that were going on when it came to certain things, like Taquana's today was having a free Thanksgiving meal for people and stuff like that. She had a free Thanksgiving meal. She's trying to make a name for herself in the local community and stuff here and doing what she has to do. But that's her thing. She's always going to have her thing. She's still a local business, and some people feel she's still worthy to be here. Some people might not. Some people might. I'm one of those people that really kind of wanted to put my heart and everything into trying to welcome her and trying to show her, that I wanted to support her and I wanted to show her the best. But we really clashed in the end, and it's causing a lot of clashes that are affecting a lot more things that are not really, you shouldn't have meant to be affected as the way that they are, or things going out of proportion the way that they are, that are really kind of blowing up, really kind of being reckless and recklessly blowing up out of proportion, and that are affecting my life and kind of benching me from being able to participate in the community and stuff like that. It's not just me. It's just not. Maybe it's not just me being reckless. Maybe I am being a little reckless. I don't know, but. I don't think I was reckless at all this year. Maybe I was a little, on I don't know, say on, but maybe I didn't listen to some of the advice that I was given. Maybe not to say this or not to do this, because I was told certain things about certain situations, or about if I found myself in certain situations that it might not be good if I did certain things. But then again, I went and I tried to talk to some certain people and did what I did anyways and said what I said. Whether it didn't kind of blow up in my face yet, but yet being the key word, but. I kind of was told not to go certain places with certain things, and I kind of did message people saying, "Oh, this is how I feel," and blah 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 blah. People don't need people don't need an exploratory situation if they're not ready for it. If they're not ready to know what's wrong and stuff like that, people don't need an explanatory explanation on what's wrong with you and the whole 9 yards. If they don't care, they don't care. They're gonna do their own thing and etc. What I really found kind of really funny, and it kind of makes me wonder too, is that there was the only people that go to a fucking open mic night for Taquanas are basically four young guys going to Taquanas having an open mic night, right? So I'm thinking to myself, is she like gonna sleep with them afterwards or something? Because who the fuck knows? Those are the only people that went to our open mic, four young guys that obviously probably have a crush on Taquana and her food and her business and whatever the fuck else, but. Who knows, regardless of the factor, though, I'm trying to find a way not to bench my life and not to put me on the sidelines and try to get me back into being an artist and being able to get back into the swing of things, My workers asked me if I would be welcome to go back to everything by certain people, and I don't know if I'm going to be fully welcomed back by anyone, yet alone, the people I fell out with or the people I've kind of talked about or possibly even talked down on because of certain situations that did not work out in my favor or that were just not mutually agreed upon within business and etc. Like Taquanas, which I'm sure I'm not going to be welcomed back like Taquanas because Taquana already told me, it was already too late when she told me, I didn't have time to back out or try to take another route. It was already too late when she told me, said, well, I'm glad you took the job because now, if you've let me down now, you can't come back. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So I just basically screwed my whole entire, I don't know, different culture, different, different way of being, Some people don't like white people. Some white people don't like black people. But me, I'm kind of wanting to be in between, and I'm kind of caught up in the thing where people are either not liking me or etc. So, I don't know. But regardless, I kind of been unintentionally sidelined this year, and the point I'm making too is I'm talking to my counselor, my mental health worker, who is telling me I should go try to talk to a counselor. The only counselor they have right now is a female counselor, right? They said I can see a female counselor starting at the beginning of the year. I can start seeing a female like therapist or counselor, which is good because I think I need somebody to talk to, which I think is good, I guess, in a way. I mean, I kind of do miss talking to my therapist before he retired. I don't think I was fully done with working with my therapist and working with the things that I was working with as trying to, organize my life and stuff like that. But the thing I don't like is the fact that I'm going to have to work with a whole new person, and it might be a whole new ball game and a whole new different way of doing things. I was so used to getting to know to work with the therapist that I had and the way that he was doing things and how he was doing them that I knew how to work with that and how to really adapt it to my growth and stuff when it comes to working with this new person and stuff like that. It's not as it doesn't make me feel very as trusting or as happy trying to take advice from somebody new for counseling, and having to start all over again when people don't really know who I am or the situations that have occurred, and me having to open up about everything again to somebody brand new, which I had to do the other day to my freaking mental health worker who's also brand new. But that's the thing about the state of Connecticut too, is that nobody stays the same from time to time. Sometimes people retire, sometimes people leave, and then they hire new people, and then you're pretty much stuck trying to fill everybody in with what's been going on with you and etc. And everybody has to hear the same old story again. When it comes to either you not getting along or etc. and stuff that was going on. Um, but regardless, my mental health worker said he might be able to help me get into the gym. He might be able to help me get into the gym and maybe start learning how to how to lift weights or something, maybe lift weights or, do the treadmill or something maybe once a week or so. He's going to start, taking me to the gym and, maybe just on a one-on-one sense a little bit before doing a group. He's going to take me to the gym and he's going to, teach me the ropes of the gym and try to teach me how to do. He told me I can go in as a guest under him, so he can take me to the gym and I can start lifting weights and stuff or doing what I gotta do to try to maybe exercise or something once a week at the gym and maybe work out a better diet down the road. As I said before too, this at the end of this year, I kind of had some unexpected bills. Like I had over $300 in unexpected bills, and I gotta find a way to come up with $300 so I can pay the bills for my eyeglasses for from last year, the beginning of this year. I mean, I'm almost due for another eye exam and stuff like that to get my eyes checked because it's going to the 2 year mark where I am going to be due for another pair of glasses, but I need to pay them, I need to pay them the fee in that bill first. So that's going to have to happen. I mean, I'm trying to sell artwork. I've been trying to advertise my artwork. I've been trying to sell artwork. I'm willing to sell artwork. I'm willing to sell artwork to anybody who wants to buy it. Pay me through Cash App or PayPal and send me their address and where to send the painting and etc. And probably shipping. I'm gonna probably have to figure out what shipping is going to cost to do all this, but I'm willing to work with people to even sell some artwork and get some artwork out there so people can buy the artwork and I can try to work my best to try to get my needs met and stuff, try to pay my bills and just keep everything going smoother than kind of started not going as smoothly. But then again, I told everybody too that I'm a dragon. I'm a dragon and I'm a Sagittarius. Sagittarius and Taurus is bump heads. Taurus and Sagittarius is bump heads. I mean, actually, technically, anybody bumps heads. Anybody bumps heads. When it comes to when it comes to astrology signs. Let's put it that way, because I used to think because someone's a Leo or an Aries that we would automatically get along with me being a Sagittarius or them being a Leo or an Aries, but that's not always the case. There's certain Leos and certain Aries that have hated my guts, and then there's other Aries and Leos that have absolutely loved me. So it all depends on personality, and I think there's more about it when it comes to the planets and the planetary charts of that person and how they mesh well with you and how and in your sign. So I got an itch on my nose, and you and your sign, but um. The thing is, I am going to try to regain a new part of my life and try to get out and do a little bit more. I think at the beginning of the year, I mean, I think I might have to reevaluate my resolutions, because my resolutions were written in a way that was, supposed to be more towards certain things, which I don't know if they're going to be accurately, depicted if I can't do certain things, or if certain things are no longer going to be the same. That I may have to redo my resolutions for the new year, because I think I had over 40 resolutions. I mean, I think some of them I kept to and some of them I did not, but I mean, some of them might stay the same, but I mean, some of the resolutions I need to really work more on and stuff like that. We need to work more on acceptance. I need to work more on acceptance, and I need to work more on forgiveness. But I know I've learned about myself too is that in order to forgive somebody, sometimes I need to learn how to, maybe not always think it's absolutely appropriately right that what people have done to me, but I need to learn to kind of accept that it happened and kind of move on from it. And that kind of is the first step. Acceptance is the first step of always healing. You gotta learn to accept things. I mean, you might not like it and you might not always agree with it, but sometimes you just gotta learn to accept things, even without closure, even without the apology, and then try to do what you can to find the healing and the balance you need to live your life. And that's what I've been working on. That's what I've been working on. I mean, I don't need closure. I don't need, people to come to me and say they're sorry, because, we all know people were doing all kinds of fucked up shit and doing shit behind closed doors and shit that I don't know about, and then smiling to my face acting like they were a friend. But, I think next year is not gonna be like this. I think I'm gonna try to be a little bit more hands on with my life, next year. I mean, I don't know if it's just gonna be like that, or if I'm gonna move, or it's just gonna come to a point where I'm gonna move and go to a different place, or just, get out of here and just, change my life around. But I almost want to meet somebody. I almost wish I could meet somebody, fall in love, get married, and try to move. And try to just move out of here and move into a apartment with them, or move into a place with them, and not have to be living here. I've been here for like 10 years, and the first couple of years of me living in my apartment, right? Which this isn't the first apartment I've ever had, but the first couple of years living here had been actually very traumatic and very hardcore on me, that it still played a big part on my mental health and my overall well-being, and it still kind of does when the neighbors kind of gossip, and there's people that get moved into the building and stuff too that are still kind of part of the problems and stuff, and you can't fully get rid of them, and certain dramas and things continue, and but I don't want to go through any of this again. I mean, I really want to go through a whole new clean slate where some of this shit is not happening, and there's a whole new aspect of life that's going to change everything around. My mental health worker, too, wants to look at my budget. Not that I'm not independent with my budget, not that I don't have a budget, and I'm not really good at paying my bills and stuff, but he wants to look at it to see if we can maybe stretch my money further when it comes to, like, the end of the month and stuff, when it comes to things and stuff. Usually I just pay the bills. I usually just pay the bills. I get all my groceries in the house, spend about like $400 to $500 on groceries, and if there's anything left, which sometimes there's not, but if there's anything left, then I usually end up using some of that for spending, or to get some of my needs, or get what I need for the month to, to try to do what I need to do. So, I mean, it worked out well that way, and it's always worked out that way. I mean, I haven't been able to save any money. I haven't really been able to, make it last almost the whole entire month. But I am doing the best I can to get by and do what I have to do, I mean, certain people are not always going to be there for me in my corner to really help me get out of situations, or help me, look out for me for certain situations and stuff, like, especially like today and, other things that have happened in, this past month, Um, so certain people might not be there in the end, but, the lighting in here is horrible. I got like glares in my eyes, but these glasses with the way the frames are and the way the prescription is, it's weird. It has bad, like when the light hits them, they're really bad. But regardless, it is what it is this year. It's gonna be, it was what it was this year. I'm looking forward to the next year, but the next year is the year of the rabbit. So, and because I'm a dragon and rabbits don't get along. I think rabbits and dragons are the worst signs for each other, when it comes to that. So my mom and a couple other people are rabbits and Tauruses and stuff, and it's just like I don't really get along with those signs or really kind of connect with those signs, and usually those kind of signs really have a secret hatred for me or have some type of disliking for me and my guts to the point that it's kind of toxic. Like the relationship with my mother is kind of toxic, but she's my mother, and I try to accept it. I try to keep a relationship with her because she's still my mother, but at the same time, there's things about the aspect of that I don't really want to accept and stuff that, are really toxic and stuff, and I don't really have to accept them, when she doesn't have to accept it, I don't have to accept them, but I mean, it's still a problem. But it is what it is at this point. I'm just chilling at this point. I mean, I have control of my life. I pay my bills. I have my own money. I do what I do. I watch my cable. I mean, I have my food I cook. I have my food. I'm pretty, I'm pretty much a grown up. But to have more of a life and to have more of a financial budget and stuff has been kind of a big question at the end of this year. But then again, things like inflation and things like, the raising prices on food and stuff have really taken a really big impact on the budget and how people view the budget and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, I almost don't think a secondary grocery shopping trip is really going to work for the month. I mean, somebody said they're willing to work with me on that, but I don't think that's almost workable because, I mean, truthfully, if people are trying to get me to be independent, then people might want to just keep that in place where I just get all my food at once and then try to get me to be more independent with all the other stuff because at this point, they're trying to teach me to be independent and going backwards to try to do, food shopping 2 times a month or work on a budget and food shopping 2 times a month is kind of like going backwards. I mean, maybe it will help me in the long run try to kind of branch out like my budget and shit, but I think it's kind of a backward step when it comes to me being independent and stuff and me having my independence. But people are kind of worried because, sometimes there's not enough money at the end of the month and then there's extra bills and there's this and that. But then again, we're in the middle of like a thing where there's inflation, there's the rising gas prices, there's rising all kinds of shit, food prices and all kinds of stuff because of the war going on and all kinds of stuff that's been happening. So it's not just me. It's not my fault at all. It's society's and the way the world is going. There was a time when all this stuff wasn't happening. When all this stuff wasn't happening, When all this stuff wasn't happening, there was a time that I was able to have a lot more money and I was able to pay my bills and able to, get by more freely and stuff like that, But then again, sometimes too, I also became a bit more materialistic. I kind of have a little bit more materialistic aspects to myself that I didn't have originally before. I mean, some things were, fully in place at that point in time that I was materialistic. Actually, as a matter of fact, I was materialistic, and then I kind of lost a lot of my material wealth because of some things, and then I stopped being materialistic because I ended up going through some toxicity and some other type of bullshit that was really bad. So I ended up not being materialistic for a while. But then when I started, go after my Saturn return and after when I got back to my solar return and all this other bull crap with the planets and karma and all these fucking lessons and shit that I had to go through. Basically, where I'm headed now, I'm still going back to being materialistic, because I am still a very materialistic type of person, I do like nice things. I do like, being able to eat well. I do like, can't always afford it, most of the time when I have to get, like, books and things or get collectibles and things, I have to go to Goodwill, because I can't afford retail prices or sometimes shopping retail because it's too expensive, So, I mean, at the point now, it's like, I do get extra money for stuff and stuff like that, but the extra money, this year kind of came and went, In the past, I've used the extra money towards guitars, I've used it towards hats, I've used it towards my TV, I've used it towards my computer. I mean, I kind of could have put it towards something I don't normally get, but then I put it towards a bunch of cosplay stuff and stuff like that, and I don't know if that was fully a good use to put it towards the cosplay stuff. I maybe should have not did that, because you can work on cosplays, and some cosplays will work out, and then other cosplays you can work on for multiple years and etc. And the situation goes is that you can spend all this money working on a cosplay, and the cosplay won't work out. The cosplay won't work properly, and situations with that, and it won't work properly, and you waste your money trying to do a cosplay which you might never be able to make or achieve because of whatever the reason, or you're too big, or money wise, or etc. So I am trying to do cosplay, but it's like, cosplay is another financial thing, and that's kind of why I did what I did in a way with the money, but I don't know if I should have did that. I maybe should have took another avenue, but I don't know. I'm at that point where I don't even know right now, and I'm just trying to think, and eventually I gotta go clean my kitchen and put all my food away. I just cooked all that food, and I'm eating some of it, but eventually I gotta put some of that food away, and then I gotta, clean up the kitchen and, take out the garbage and call it a night. I am trying to do some social media work. I'm still blocked from my art page. I can't post anything from my art page. I'm temporarily blocked from the art page. Not temporarily blocked yet from my personal page, but that's coming probably soon too, Norman Zuckerberg, that's probably coming soon too. I posted too much. We got to temporarily block you in there for that too. So, but it is what it is at this point, I was saying to myself, if I had like fucking $10, I think it would have been really perfect this this holiday season if I just had $10 to get something I wanted to get, I would have been perfect. I had everything worked out, everything worked out well, when it came to how, me being able to have a nice holiday. It came out to be really well, and I'm kind of just chilling at home and enjoying the quiet and kind of reflecting on things. But if I had like $10 or so, maybe even just 7 or 8, I probably could have got myself something I wanted, and I probably would have been more, even more excited about things. But sometimes you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need, and it's like, I don't really need it right now, but I kind of want it, but I don't need it, one of those situations, I got so many things in here I don't need, but I wanted them, and it's just like, it's all over my house. So, and sometimes material wealth isn't everything. Company is good, company is good, family is good, human connection is good, being around people is good and stuff like that, but, I don't know. I don't know for sure, I'm just kind of at this point now where I just need to breathe, I just need to do what I need to do and chill. My phone's going off 24/7. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can actually hear me because my ringtone was on silent. So I don't know if anybody can hear me at this point in time because I know the volume was down on my phone. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do this video over. Who knows? But Anyways, I just wanted to get online and say I'm hoping that next year is not going to be anything like this year. I mean, I'm a little afraid to know what next year is going to be like because next year is the year of the rabbit, and I know rabbits and dragons don't really have a good year, and I know the last rabbit year that I had ended up being very toxic and very, traumatic and very much a problem to me and my mental health and kind of put some hard trials in my life that kind of shaped like the 10 years that I've just came to pass, so um I don't know. Anyways, getting offline, I got shit to do. Peace.